Hello, and welcome back to Jacqueline Robinson, affectionately known as Jackie R. Hot and Mobile Technology for Out and About. I love the fact that you visit my website, hotandmobile.com, read the articles, and are genuinely concerned about our cybersecurity for yourself and for your children. Thank you so much for tuning in last time and listening to our first in a series of cybersecurity podcasts. Last time we touched on what is cybersecurity, and I went through a list of different types of attacks that you should be aware of. Those including malware, viruses, trojans, spywares, ransomware. So we went through that. If you didn't get a chance to listen live, go back into our list of podcasts and pick up the What is Cybersecurity podcast and hear the definition of the things that are happening in these attacks. Because the internet is a space riddled with malicious links, trojans, and viruses. Data breaches are becoming more frequent, and unsuspecting users, such as yourself and I, are more vulnerable than ever before. When one click can cost thousands and even millions, users need actionable to-dos that can help them stay alert and be safe online. So today's episode in my cybersecurity series is spam email and phishing. We all know about spam email, and then we've got this new term about phishing, but I'm going to start with talking about spam. Spam. Now, I know you have opened your email like I opened my email and see a flood of messages talking about free consultations, sales, breaking news, always something, a host of uninvited information. I didn't sign up to get some of these things, but yet and still my mailbox inbox is filled with these emails. We didn't ask for it. That's spam. Now, how do these spammers get my email address? I'm going to tell you 4 ways that spammers get your email address, and then I'll touch on how you can protect yourself from spam in the future. Now, 4 ways that they get your email address. A lot of them buy email addresses from a list. There might be someone that's selling a list of, let's say, 10,000 members to a women's organization, a large organization. Now, I know that if you buy a list of 10,000 email addresses, there's no way you can use something like a Constant Contact or a MailChimp and send out an email to 10,000 email addresses. They just do not allow that within their service agreement. But spammers purchase these email addresses both legally and illegally. So when you create an account on a website or service or make an online purchase, you need to read the privacy policy. I know a lot of us don't spend time going in and reading the privacy policy to determine whether or not they are saying, if you provide us with your email address, then legally we can sell your email address if we want to. We can share your email address if we want to. Another thing that you need to look for in a website's privacy policy is copyright issue. If you're uploading documents or you're uploading images or you're uploading files or you're uploading videos to these websites, who actually owns the copyright? You can read about that in the privacy policy. So read that very carefully, because your email address could be sold to a marketing list, creating unwanted junk email. Additionally, Dishonest people use IPS addresses, sometimes sell email lists on eBay and the black market. Another way is a harvesting program. What's a harvesting program? Any text on a web page that contains the @ symbol, that's the A with the circle around it, that's the @ character, is fair game for email harvesting programs. Spammers and hackers use complex automated tools to scan the web and gather email addresses. They harvest email addresses from mailing lists, websites, chat rooms, domain contact points, and several other methods. Understand this, that if you list your email address online, a spammer is going to find it. Here's another way they get your email address. Dictionary programs. What is the heck is a dictionary program? It's called brute force attacks. And you may have heard of a news article or a breaking news alert about a brute force attack. Well, that is a dictionary program which generates alphanumeric combinations of email addresses in sequences. So it's sitting there and it's calculating at thousands and thousands and thousands of characters a second, generating email addresses. Okay? So while many of the results are incorrect, these dictionary programs can create hundreds of thousands of addresses per hour, guaranteeing that at least some will work as targets for spam. They're not doing anything. They're letting this program sit there and just run, trying to figure out, is this a correct email address? Is this correct email address? In alphanumeric combinations, thousands of addresses per hour. Now, this is the one that gets me. And this is the one about dishonest newsletter services. So we have to be very careful about the newsletters that we sign up for, because dishonest newsletter services will sell your email address for commission. A very common tactic is to blast millions of people with a false "you have joined a newsletter" email. Now, here's the catch. You get this email and you say to yourself, I didn't join this newsletter mailing list. It's by law that they have to include an unsubscribe in fine print, which you usually find down at the bottom of the newsletter email. But guess what? When you click on unsubscribe, that's actually confirming that your email address is legitimate and that you are a real person with a real email address. So the moral of that particular one is, do not unsubscribe. Simply delete the email. I know it can be an inconvenience to continue to get these email addresses that say unsubscribe, but at some point, if you're not responding, that will indicate that you're not a legitimate email, and eventually you should stop receiving them. So do not unsubscribe. Do not click the link to unsubscribe. Find another way to unsubscribe. If you go out to their website, you know it's a legitimate website, you could send an email to customer support, and ask them to unsubscribe you. Just stop clicking the links. Note this. After a spammer gets your email address, they feed it to their spamming software called a ratware. And then we'll also often use botnets. I've heard of botnets, bots on Twitter, and that are not real people that are responding to Twitter posts just to generate some heat in the comments section. Called bots. They're not real people. All right. They will often use these botnets and falsify email addresses to spam you. So, what you should do is protect your email addresses from spammers. Now, I use WordPress and I subscribe to a service called Clean Talk, cleantalk.com. And what Clean Talk does for a small annual fee, is it catches all of those spammers from all around the world who are soliciting me for hair care products or men products, something that has absolutely nothing to do with the subject matter of my website. And so it causes a lot of comments to be posted on your site. And if you don't have comments turned off on your WordPress website, people can come to your site, go to a blog article, and see all these ridiculous comments. So if you have it in your budget to invest in a service like Clean Talk to keep you from getting spam emails in your WordPress website, that is something that you may want to seriously consider. So those are 3 different ways spammers get your email addresses. They buy them, they buy a list, they harvest, okay? They use brute force by trying to use a program to generate thousands of alphanumeric combinations per hour to generate email addresses. And they send you a dishonest newsletter service that you know doggone well you did not sign up for. Spam emails. Okay. A lot of us already know about spam emails, but now, and I've been doing this for a long time. So I want to get into next, the one that I feel is a lot more serious, and that is phishing attacks. Phishing, phishing attacks. So you asked the question, okay, Jack, what's phishing? What's a phishing attack? Phishing is a type of attack often used to steal user data, including login credentials and credit card numbers. We talked about in the first podcast in our cybersecurity series. What is cybersecurity? What are cyber attacks? Well, this phishing is something that you need to pay very close attention to, because it occurs when an attacker, masquerading as a trusted entity, dupes a victim into opening an email, instant message, or a text message. The recipient, that be you or me, is then tricked into clicking a malicious link, which can lead to the installation of malware. And there are different types of malware. We talked about viruses, Trojans, spyware, ransomware, adware, and botnets. Now, these type of malicious malware or cyber attacks can have devastating results. For individuals, this includes unauthorized purchases, the stealing of funds, or identity theft. You may get an email that looks legitimate from Outlook, an Outlook email, from Microsoft, from your bank, from your phone carrier. That might have a message that says your account has been compromised. Your email password has been changed. It looks legitimate. There are tools that you can set up with your bank. There are tools you can set up within Outlook, within Microsoft app software to determine whether or not some of these phishing emails are legitimate. And we'll talk about that. It's serious, people. It's very serious because I'm going to tell you, I had an incident where I got caught. Even though I'm talking to you about cybersecurity and cyber attacks, I'm passionate about this because I got caught. I got caught up. Some time ago, I was working on a project, and I must have been about 20 pages deep into a proposal I was working on. And all of a sudden, a pop-up window appeared on the screen with a Microsoft logo on it and everything. It looked so legitimate, and it said that my system had been compromised. This is what we call ransomware, where I had to act very quickly in order to save my document. Otherwise, I would not be able to save it. The pop-up window would not go away until I made a decision in terms of how I wanted to proceed. It said that I needed to pay $50 in order to protect myself from this virus that it determined was on my machine. Now imagine I'm 20 pages in, and yes, I had not been clicking the save as, or save as often as I should have been. And that is something that I highly recommend when you're working with a document, especially something as important as a proposal, that you click save every now. When you think of it, click save every now and then, click save. You might even want to click save as and give it another name so that you have two copies. In the meantime, I'm sitting there thinking I cannot afford to lose this document. So I paid the $50. The pop-up window disappeared and it said I was secure and that I could now save my file. Well, I got to thinking about it. And I said, I know people at Microsoft. I've been in this industry a long time. I got people. Let me just call them up real quick. It reminded me, Jack, we would never send you a pop-up email or a pop-up window on your system, or log into your system and send you a pop-up window soliciting for money. Lo and behold, some weeks later, when I got my bank statement, my credit card statement, I had paid $50 to a Russian hacker all the way in Russia. Now, I reported it, but there was no way it was going to get that money back. So we have to be careful about, things that pop up on our screen that look legitimate. I know emotionally we are involved because it looks legitimate. If Microsoft has got a logo on it, Outlook has got a logo on it, my bank has got a logo on it. But understand that they will not typically send you out those types of messages that just pop up on your screen. So how do you prevent phishing? Vigilance. Vigilance is, we have to understand what's the difference? We have to listen to people like Jackie R, Hot and Mobile, be smarter than your phone, because I am here. My purpose is to educate you on these things in terms of cyber attacks and cybersecurity, not only for your business, but for yourself and for your family. Practically everybody in your family probably has a smartphone. These are things that I'm teaching you that you need to be aware of so that you are not a victim. In the other episode, What is Cybersecurity? I talked about a client who got duped out of over $40,000. It's 2021. We need to be aware of these things because hackers and spammers are not going away. They are getting more sophisticated in the tools that they're using. And not only that, we have become more relaxed and trusting of the services that we subscribe to be able to protect us. No, it's left up to us to protect ourselves. So vigilance is key. A spoof phishing message often contains little small mistakes that expose its true identity. They might spell Microsoft wrong. The URL is misspelled wrong. So read it over before you act. Stop and think about why am I even receiving this email? But scrutinize it. I've seen them. They've had misspelled words in it, and that is a telltale sign that it is not legitimate when it's got misspelling words. Now, if you are a subscriber to a service that offers two-factor authentication, especially for financial institutions, make sure that you sign up for it so that your financial institution can make sure that whoever is logging in to that website is you. You've got your bioptic thumbprint. You've got your text message to coding. Like you try to log into your bank account and they say, okay, you need to insert the 6-digit code that we just text to your smartphone. Make sure that you are signing up for these things as added protection to prevent against phishing. Okay? It's there for your protection. Now, attackers will usually try to push you into action by creating a sense of urgency. I just talked about that. I was working on a 20-page proposal, a document, and I had a sense of urgency because all of that work, hours of time, and I had not saved it. Okay? So be careful when it appears as though the message is trying to apply pressure on you. Now, what can you do to protect yourself against spam, email, and phishing? I have these things outlined in my book on cybersecurity, but I'm going to share them with you here. First of all, you can do separate emails. I have several email addresses and have had a Yahoo email address, a Gmail email address, a domain email address that is attached to my website. So your private email addresses, okay, never publish your private email address on public accessible online services. If you are ordering something from Amazon or Wish, or you signing up for these various retailers, QVC or whoever it happens to be, or you see an ad that comes through on Instagram for some God knows what type of product that somebody's created and they say 5 million sold. Do not use your regular email address. Create one that you use specifically for shopping. Now, if you must publish your email, your private email address, try to mask it with a dot. So it would be Jacqueline.Lawson@myemail.com or Jacqueline_Lawson@myemail.com. Try to create an email address that inserts spaces or special symbols that when that data mining service is trying to generate your email address, it'll make it a lot harder for them to do. There's also a way to create a graphic file of an email address. I've done that. You've seen them in the email signature. It's a graphic. It's an image. I offer that as a service. It doesn't cost much. Just check us out on hotandmobile.com. But that's another way that you can prevent spammers and phishing or spammers rather from getting your email address. Now, in a bad case where the spam is just continuously horrible, you're getting hundreds of emails in your inbox every morning, and you may want to consider changing your email address. If you have been using an email business address for a long time, the beginning of 2021, it may be important for you to consider whether or not you want to change your email address, and then let your legitimate subscribers in your mailing list know that your email address has changed. Create a public email. I just talked about that. I have several: Yahoo, Gmail. Okay. Now, never respond to any spam. Most spammers verify receipt when you click on it, and they log those responses. So the more you respond, the more spam you will likely get. Think before you click unsubscribe. I already touched on this, okay, because spammer sends fake unsubscribe letters. And once you click unsubscribe, that to them indicates that you are a legitimate person with a legitimate email address, and they collect your email address. Here's something. Check your browser. If you're using Safari, if you're using Chrome, if you're using Firefox, whatever browser that you're using, make sure that it's updated, the latest version of your web browsers, because these browsing companies, they understand about spam and phishing, and they have developers that are working on the back end to secure their browsers, because the one thing they don't want is for people to stop using their browsers because they're not protected against spam. So update your browsers. Use anti-spam filters when you see an opportunity on a website or in the browser to use anti-spam filters. Use it. Only open email accounts with providers that include spam filtering. When it says, okay, email address came in, and I get a blue bar at the top, scanning for viruses. That is what you want, and that is what you should be looking for. One last thing about emails, and that is, do not open email attachments from unknown senders. If you don't know them, don't open it. These are just a few tips that I will share with you through the Be Smarter Than Your Phone series. In our next episode, we will cover smartphone threats, what you should know about smartphone security. This is your girl, Jackie R., hot and mobile technology for out and about. Continue to trust me to show you how to be smarter than your phone.